Talk with Tyson Bryden. Come on for the ride. We'll take you inside. Non-stop rock talk. It's non-stop rock talk with Tyson Bryden. Come on for the ride. We'll take you inside.
Welcome to Nonstop Rock Talk. I am your host, Tyson Bryden. Today, I'm very happy to welcome from the band Cyanide, Rob Hussey. Rob, how's it going, man?
Doing pretty well this morning. Just paying some tribute to Ace and Ozzy this morning.
Nice. I see that. The Ozzy t-shirt and the Ace makeup. Is that is that like an AI type of thing? Or
no, these are just sunglasses.
Oh, those are cool, man. I love
man.
It.
I thought I'd start out with that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I mean, last time we interviewed you were at work in a conference room, I believe it was.
Right.
So
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So this time I'm seeing in the background, because we're only audio, so the people at home can't see this, but
darn it.
Yeah, they can't see your glasses and your awesome Diary of a Madman t-shirt. And then
That's terrible.
I know. Sorry, man.
I'm kidding.
And then all the wicked, you've got some Kiss stuff and some Motley, and I see some Rat stuff there. This stuff looks amazing. And then Asylum and wow.
Yeah. There's a whole Iron Maiden shrine in here, and there's some Ghost stuff, and the Scorpions and Def Leppard and Van Halen are represented in here, although I probably should have more of their stuff. But there's just too much Kiss and Motley Crue and Iron Maiden stuff, and those are my three favorite bands. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I love it.
Yeah, this is much cooler than doing it at work. I forgot that we did that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting.
I probably shouldn't admit that on.
Oh, well, as long as your work's not listening to us.
They might be.
Oh, no. Okay, well, I mean,
I was on my break.
That's right. You were on break. That's right.
Yeah.
I think we had a short window, too, so it was all good.
Yeah, it was a quick one.
So tell me what's going on. What's going on with Cyanide?
Well, gosh, last time we talked, had the record even come out yet?
I think it was just I think 21 Gun Salute had just been released, and I believe you had sent me an advance of some of the music, and I listened to that, and we talked about some of the previous songs. I think that's as far as we got. Yeah. I think that was it.
You're right. So, yeah, the CD was actually released last May on Kivel Records. And as we all know, there are no longer humongous portions of people that buy CDs.
Yeah.
So from May until October, the only people that could hear the record were the people that bought the CDs. And while there was a sizable amount of people that bought it, it wasn't until October when the streaming release happened that the single 21 Gun Salute, I actually had put out 5 singles leading up to the release of the album. So there was 5 songs out there, and that was cool. And I think that really helped. And unfortunately, the album was coming out on Friday, October 17th, which means on Thursday at 9 p.m., you'll be able to hear it on the West Coast and midnight on the East Coast. So it was Thursday, actually. And that just happened to be the day that Ace passed away.
Man.
And I was just devastated, and I had all these plans to do all this cool stuff online and, just out there talking to people and promoting the record. And man, I'll tell you what, I didn't do anything about it Thursday night or Friday or Saturday or Sunday. I just spent the whole weekend listening to Kiss albums, and I'm not a particularly good guitar player, but somehow I put on my acoustic and I was figuring out how to play all these Ace riffs. And that's how I spent my weekend instead of promoting the release of the album. And so for that reason, I will always remember the day that album came out. That was a tough day for not just Kiss fans, although very tough for them, but, music fans in general, just, sad day, same as the day that we lost Ozzy, Eddie Van Halen and so many others, it's just when you've grown up loving these musicians and these bands and these songs that they've blessed your life with, I just sat there thinking, how on earth can I possibly go online and talk about my album right now? I just can't, And so it wasn't until the following week that the streams really started taking off, when I kind of got back in the groove and started doing my part of promoting. And man, within a few weeks' time, the album had like 250,000 streams.
That's awesome.
And I was just so stoked, like people were. I still haven't seen one bad review about the record. It's been very well received. I wrote the record specifically for music fans like me who grew up listening to this stuff: Motley Crue, Kiss, Iron Maiden, Rat, Metallica, Judas Priest. The list goes on. And I, on the first Cyanide record, it was really just a party Sunset Strip anthem record. And so on this new record, I finally was able to get some of my Judas Priest and my Metallica influences in there.
Cool.
And so it's like half of the record's like a glam rock album from the 80s heyday. And then the other half is the heavier side, the Metallica and the Priest, the Iron Maiden. There might even be a little bit of Slayer and Anthrax influence that crept into one of the songs. At least that's what people, when people heard Social Media Disease, they said, I hear some Metallica in here, I hear a little bit of Slayer in there. And I'm like, wow, I wasn't even thinking about that when I was, putting it together. But yeah, I hear it now too. I hear a little bit of Tom Araya in my voice, which you would never think. But so that was a fun experience. This studio that you see, this is where I wrote the record. And I purposely designed this studio so that it would be like my bedroom when I was 15. So that when I come in here, I'm 15 years old now with a guitar, just making songs that my 15-year-old self would freak out over and immediately jump on my bike, ride to the record store and buy whatever album I just heard, Yeah. And that happened all the time when I was a kid. And so that was my goal, was to make a record like that. And according to everyone I've spoken to about the record, that's heard the record, they feel like that's exactly what it is. It sounds instantly familiar. All of my influences out there on the table. And it just felt really good that so many people heard it and got it, Yeah. Oh yeah, I see what you did there. You're trying to keep that thing alive, that thing that was going on from 1980 to 1989, or maybe even 91, 92. But yeah, it's been a fun ride since the record came out.
That's awesome. It's funny as you're mentioning bands like being compared to like Slayer and Anthrax, but then you've got, and Priest, as well as the Sunset Strip thing, because for a lot of us growing up in those times, a lot of us crossed over, like we liked thrash and we liked the glam metal. We liked it all. Anything that was, heavy or, screaming guitars, big drums, it didn't
sign me up.
Exactly. It didn't matter. So we all kind of have those influences. I was talking to a buddy of mine yesterday about this, and we go back to high school when we were growing up listening to all this stuff in our bedrooms, like hanging out together. And I said to him, a lot of those times I remember them by what album I was listening to or what album I bought. Okay.
Yep.
So
that's how I know what year things happened in my life.
That's right. And that was our lives, right? I said to him, okay, March break, in Canada, March break is it's around your spring break type of time, but I think it differs. But I said to him, I said, you know what, March break 1991, I had just bought David Lee Roth, A Little Ain't Enough,
Love that record.
Bullet Boys, Freak Show, and Great White Hooked, all on the same day. And I said to him, I said, I remember us hanging out, and like the whole week we were off, and that's what I was listening to.
Wore those 3 albums out in a week, didn't you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I did. I think I had them on tape too.
Yeah.
Right.
I got you on tape.
That's right. No, and it's funny that how I think our kids today don't understand what it was like for us. That everything we didn't have phones, and we didn't have we had to watch video on MTV or Much Music, which was in Canada, and our information wasn't on our phone. We couldn't just look up, our favorite bands. We had to wait for the magazines. Circus,
Hit Parader,
Metal Edge,
Faces, right? Metal Edge, Cream. Yeah. I remember just going into the magazine store every month and just walking out with a whole stack of magazines every month. Like, I had to have them all.
Yeah. Yeah.
I read some of those articles I even memorized, like that Motley Crue Sleaze Patrol article in the Hit Parader when they first started getting big during the Shout era. I was just like, wow, these guys are crazy, man.
I know.
I've never seen an interview like this. I gotta be these guys.
I know. And that was just it. It was like it wasn't just listening to music. It was a whole persona that revolved around everything. And it's funny too, like as a guy, for me, learning to play guitar for the practicing musician was a Bible as well. That was a magazine that you had to pick up because you wanted the inside scoop of, how does Reb Beach do this on 17, or just as an example, or Vito Bratta, because you right. You wanted to be that, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I want to be as good as Reb Beach, or I want to be. And then the cool thing about it too, was when you open the first page, Mike Varney was the guy who did Guitar for the Practicing Musician. I think he was involved in that. He also had his own record label. So all these guitar players were putting out these solo, like these albums, like, like Richie Kotzen and Marty Friedman and Jason Becker, all guys that would go on to play in the bands that we loved.
Yeah. Mike Varney's actually become a good friend of mine. I met him through the Count 77 crew, Danny and Stoney and, Barry and Zito and Jeff Tatora now on drums, and Mike Varney is who I believe produces and writes the Count 77 stuff with Stoney, and then produces those records with Stoney. And it was actually Mike Varney was supposed to be on this new Cyanide album.
Oh, cool.
He was going to do the leads on I Love You, the cover of the Climax Blues song. And he actually cut the lead, and I had the stems. And then during the recording of the album, when we were just about finished, the producer and I had a falling out that was very unfortunate. And he left the project 3 songs away from being mixed.
Oh, no way.
He left. And that's how I met Ty Sims, who that was probably the best thing that could have ever happened for this record, because it's not that I didn't like the record and the mixes that I had been doing with Jason. I did like them, but it wasn't what I wanted. I was settling.
Yeah.
And then when Ty took over, unfortunately, we were not able to, whatever was going on with those sessions, there was something messed up in there with Stoney's lead on Never Let Me Go, Stoney Curtis, and Mike Varney's lead on I Love You. And we couldn't make it work. I still I couldn't really explain what the problem was, but Ty was like, I can't make these work. You're going to have to use these other leads and what a problem to have, because Jeff Duncan had done leads on Never Let Me Go as well. And so we ended up using his leads on there. And oh yeah, I had done like a placeholder. I am not a good guitar player. Okay. It was the one instrument that laughed at me when I tried to master it. I wanted desperately to be able to play ripping guitar solos. And I actually, I didn't have to try at drums or vocals, they just kind of came to me. I didn't take lessons. I just kind of did it,
Yeah.
but guitar did not happen that way for me. And so I tried to become good on guitar, and it wasn't in the cards for me. But even with that said, I had laid down this really simple solo on I Love You. I liked it. It sounded maybe like something George Harrison would play,
Okay.
which is certainly not a bad thing because I
No.
love the Beatles.
Yeah.
And when Ty found that solo in the sessions, he's like, well, I'm going to use this solo. Who played this? I'm like, no, I never meant for anyone to hear that. That was just there. So we knew that that's where the solo would be. And he's like, well, I think it's good. I think we should use it. And so that ends up being the solo on the record, but it was supposed to be Mike Varney.
Wow.
And so yeah, I was really bummed out about that because him and Stoney did some really nice things on those two songs. Jeff Duncan ended up on Never Let Me Go, and his stuff on there is also phenomenal. So, I was blessed during the making of this record to have, Oz Fox came in and did leads on two of the songs.
That's so cool.
Jeff Duncan, I believe, is on 4 or 5 of the songs. He completely redid my rhythm guitar tracks on Never Let Me Go and I Love You. And I felt like just instantly made those songs better. His rhythm playing is just as good as his lead guitar playing. And he just pulls the tastiest stuff right out of the air, and he comes in the studio and he hasn't even heard this song. And within an hour, he's just crafted these beautiful parts. And John Zito from Count 77 did some slide guitar on Back the Fuck Off and Sweet Little Trash. And Keith Robert, oh my gosh, Keith Robert is like if Ace Frehley had a son, that's your guy, right?
I remember
there,
you saying that before. Yeah.
Yeah, he came in the studio and the first solo he laid down was 21 Gun Salute. And, I'm just sitting there watching him conjure up this solo. And to me, it felt like I'm literally watching 20-year-old Ace Frehley just rip this smoking solo. Like there's literally smoke coming out of the guitar in my mind. And
that's cool,
man. So yeah, I was really blessed because when I wrote and recorded this album, I wasn't even sure that I was going to put together a band. That's why I just had all these guest guitar players, because I played the drums on there and the bass, and I was just trying to get the record done. I didn't really know what I was going through a divorce. I didn't know what was going to happen. And so thanks to all those guys, I could never thank them enough for how they elevated this record with that stuff. And I kind of forgot where I was going. I know that the Mike Varney was how that little segment.
Well, that was a good segue into that. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that I brought that up. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, and you mentioned Oz Fox. How did you manage to get Oz to play on the album?
Oz lives here in Vegas. I've been lucky enough to jam a few times with him on stage. And, whenever we see each other, it's like, hey, man, how you doing? We had lunch together. And of course, that was after the record came out. But, honestly, what happened, I just sent him a message on Facebook of all places, hey, Oz, I've got these 2 heavy tracks on this record. I know you're a huge Sabbath fan. And, I just thought, man, it would be so cool to hear your leads on these 2 songs. And honestly, it was like I was throwing a dart. I didn't think that he's going to say yes, but he did. And the next thing I know, he had ripped off these 2, not ripped off, he had ripped these 2 amazing solos. And that one on Social Media Disease is, it's got that signature Oz Fox thing that we all love that he does in like Surrender and The Way. Those are two of my favorite Stryper songs. And he brought that vibe to my song. And so, but that's how that happened. I just sent him a message and he said yes.
That's very
And Jeff
cool.
Duncan, you know, Jason, the producer, I mean, I knew Jeff and we were friends, but I didn't know him well enough to just call him up and say, hey, want to come play on my record?
Yeah.
But Jason did. And Jason called him up and he said yes and came down, and man, they did some really good stuff.
That's so cool.
Thank you, Jeff Duncan and Oz Fox and Jeremy Varayo. I can't forget about Jeremy Varayo. He's on like 5 of those songs. Just, I think on Fireball, which Oz does the main solo, Jeremy does the first solo. Jeremy laid down a wicked solo on As the World Burns, which is another one of the heavier tracks.
Yeah.
More Metallica, Slayer influences there. And oh man, the lead on there. You know, Jeremy, you know, just because, you know, not as many people know who he is as they do Oz Fox and Jeff Duncan, but his lead guitar playing is right up there with the guys, you know.
Yeah.
Thanks to him and John Zito and Keith Robert. Man,
that's
what a
amazing.
Fun experience.
That is a great.
And Ty Sims. Oh, that's what I was going into. So when Ty Sims took over, one of the things Jason and I had been kind of butting heads about during the making of this record was, I'm a huge fan of the Bob Rock drum sound.
Me too.
The first time I heard Dr. Feelgood and Enter Sandman, and I was like, holy shit, that is the best snare drum I've ever heard. And then Smoke the Sky on the John Corabi Motley Crue,
Yeah.
you know. And so I had been telling Jason, this is what I want my drums to sound like. And he's not really a fan of that. So he was kind of trying to steer me in another direction. And so we butted heads on that. And I had compromised and he had compromised. And, you know, I certainly wasn't unhappy with the snare drum sound that we ended up with. But when Ty took over, he says to me, so what do you want your album to sound like? And I said, well, you know, if I'm steering the ship, I would like it to sound like Dr. Feelgood and the Black Album had a child, and this is that record. He's like, okay, I can do that. Just like that, you know. Oh, okay, I can do, you know, those are legendary productions.
Yeah.
And he didn't even bat an eye. And I'll tell you what, he delivered that production. I mean, when I put that record on now, and I've had it to live with now for a year, I still just sit there and marvel at the production that Ty, you know, that guy should be winning Grammys, you know.
Yeah.
His production, I mean, I don't know why every single band in the world wouldn't be calling that guy up. Like, I need you to produce my album.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I say that about Bruno Ravel, actually, too, from Danger Danger.
Oh, yeah. He did a great job on. Yeah.
He's done a ton of like Defiance and Danger Danger stuff. And I was like, why are guys not calling him? Because his production, he's like Mutt Lang type of production, right? Like he's very intricate.
I love that too.
You know, like, and I think it's so cool that you wanted to go with that Bob Rock type of drum sound.
Yeah, I wanted the full, like, I didn't want to just say, like a lot of bands say, like, oh, this sounds like our old stuff, you know?
Yeah,
and then it comes out and it might be really good, but it usually doesn't sound like the first 2 records, you know?
No. And
I was like, I have to do that. I want that record to just, because I'm such a weird music fan. I sit around some days and I'm just like kind of sad. You know, it's like, what are you sad about? Well, I just wish there was a new Kiss record that I could go to the record store and buy. Like,
I'm
I miss
with
those
you,
days.
man. Yeah, I kind of get nostalgic about that. I was like,
yeah,
I wish I could go to the. I wish I could go to Blockbuster Video, and I wish I could go to the record store and buy like on release day.
Yeah, because I will listen to it on Thursday night when the streaming comes out, but then I'll still wake up Friday and go buy it. And if I love it, I'm going to get it on vinyl and CD.
Yeah.
You know, that's still what I do. I haven't ever decided to get rid of my physical media.
But imagine if the rest of the world was like that, like us, like once, you know, like it would be that people just are okay with that and want to go back to that. I mean,
Concert tickets wouldn't be so expensive because bands would actually be able to make money off their music.
People don't realize that, though, I don't think.
I know.
They don't realize if you're not buying the physical product, they have to recoup costs elsewhere.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
It's funny, getting back to Bob Rock.
Love Bob Rock.
I love
Bob
him too.
Rock.
I love him too, but there's one Bob Rock album that I do not like the drum sound on, and it's a
Saint Anger.
Oh no, I forgot about that one. No, the Cult Sonic Temple. The snare it sounds horrible. It's buried. Like it's not. It's like Bob Rock did this. I can't believe it.
I'm gonna have to go revisit that.
I do not like the drum sound on that album. It's it sounds very dead. I do like the drum sound on the Blue Murder album. I think Carmine's drums sound incredible.
Right. The longest drum fill ever in Jelly Roll. I love that.
But then the drums on Valley of the Kings, you know, that just those tom hits that go on forever. They just sound so incredible.
I mean, MTV was not really playing a ton of heavy metal in 1984 yet. Like they were just kind of dipping their toes in the water there. But we had this video channel in Vegas called Vusic, and it was a local TV station, and they would play the Wasp videos.
Wow.
And, you know, all the other videos that you wouldn't see on MTV. I remember seeing that band Warrior had that song Fighting for the Earth, and they were opening for Iron Maiden. And I would have never heard of that band except for it was on my Vusic channel 21. You had to go to 7-Eleven and get these little antenna and plug it into your TV so you could get the station.
That's cool.
Which of course I did, you know.
Speaking of Vegas, did you know of Mark Slaughter before Vinnie Vincent, like in Excursion?
I did. So my dear friend Danny Goldstein, who's no longer with us, we wrote the song Rock and Roll Army together. Actually, he brought the song in, okay? He had the initial riff, the chorus. The song is how we met and became friends in 8th grade, you know?
Yeah.
He was taking guitar lessons from Mark Slaughter at the time at this place called the Music Hut in Las Vegas. And my neighbor was Kevin Leyland. He lived behind me. He was the guitar player for Mark Slaughter's band Rose Parade that was just dominating Las Vegas at that time, you know? I went to see Stryper on the Soldiers Under Command tour, and Rose Parade's the opening band. And that was the first time I saw Mark Slaughter and Kevin Leyland, and I'm like, that's my neighbor. I didn't know he was a musician, you know?
That's cool.
And so, they had this great band, and they did a cover of Jet by Paul McCartney that night that I just was like, wow, that's genius, you know?
Wow.
And, you know, Mark Slaughter was very well known and well loved in this town long before, you know, Vinnie Vincent and Slaughter came to be. So we were all just so excited I didn't actually get to become friends with him, but my friend Danny Goldstein was taking guitar lessons from him and hung out with him regularly.
He's such a great guy. He really is. Like I did an interview with him, and it's on YouTube, actually. It's one of the only YouTube videos I've ever done, like actually posted something on YouTube. But he spent an hour with me after the interview talking guitars and stuff. Like I was like, this guy is so cool. Like he's just a great guy.
I think we were about to do that if I hadn't have been at work that day, because you and me, when we get started talking about music, I could sit here and talk for like 3 hours. Like, oh man, we love all these same records. And when you meet someone like that, it's just like an instant bond, you know, because we remember like how that was the night before the record's going to come out.
Oh man.
You know, and you're just like, oh my God, what's it going to look like? What's it going to sound like? I can't wait. When records came out on Tuesdays.
It's funny. Yeah, on Tuesdays, right.
Yeah.
It's funny when Motley was about to release Girls, Girls, Girls.
Ooh, that was a fun time.
There was a magazine that came out, and remember they changed it. They had that whole new look, right? So I can't remember if Metal Edge did it, who did it, but it was
Metal Edge, yeah.
And it was a whole thing of Motley.
And the lyrics to girls, girls, girls.
That's right. You see, you remember it. And
I'm reading him trying to imagine how's the song going to sound.
Here's like a funny moment for me. I was in public school and I had that magazine and I'm like, I'm trying to figure out how the song's going to go. So I'm singing it to my friends. They're like, well, how do you even know how it's going to go? I was like, well, I'm a Motley Crue fan. So I kind of know how this is like being like kind of
I'm inside Nikki Sixx's head.
That's right. I know how this is going to go.
Yeah.
And it's so funny that you remember that you had that copy, because I remember seeing it in the store that day and going, oh my God, what is this look? Like, they look awesome.
I know. That was, I remember even when I was growing up, I was a huge Kiss fan. And so when they came out with Dynasty, and there's now like some pink and some purple and some green, and none of the kids on my block dug that. They were like, Kiss sucks now, and all of a sudden I was like having to fight kids on my block.
Yeah, which is crazy.
And to me, I just thought that's what bands did. They grow, they evolve, they change their look.
Well,
Kiss always had different outfits, and so it wasn't weird to me then when Motley Crue went from Shout at the Devil to Theater of Pain. When I saw the new look, I was just like, oh, I had been conditioned to that because of Dynasty. So it was no big deal to me, but it was the same thing, man. All the kids at school,
right,
suddenly they were like, fuck Motley Crue, they suck now. And I'm like, what? Because of some pants?
It's the same music.
And so that is kind of when there's suddenly, at least at my school, there was now suddenly this division on the metal fans. There now became the thrash metalers and the posers.
Yep.
At least as far as the thrash metalers were concerned, we were all posers. Meanwhile, I'm riding my bike to the store to buy the new Rat album and the new Metallica album. I don't, I just think good music is good music. But man, I remember even when Master of Puppets came out, the next day at school, a lot of kids were like saying Metallica sold out. I'm like, why? Well, they're going to be opening for Ozzy now. That's not supposed, and I'm like, well, so they're not allowed to try to become a bigger band? Like,
yeah.
I just never understood that, but it's still kind of that way. Like when Turbo came out,
I love that album.
I love that album. I instantly loved it. Everyone at school was like, Judas Priest sucks now. And I'm like, what is this?
Yeah. You're going to have no bands left to listen to.
But over time, people have realized that those albums are good. And, now Theater of Pain is looked back on as a beloved classic album, which makes me happy.
Yep.
Because I listened to it all summer long that year. I had no problem,
man.
Yeah.
I remember getting the tape and opening it up, and there was and it had that picture of them on the inside. And Vince is wearing like the pink pants with the lace on
garter belts.
The garter belts.
Little white garter belts.
I was like, it's like they can get away with this though. Like, who cares? Like they look
for
cool.
The girls.
That's right. And they looked cool. It didn't matter. I was like, I don't care. I was like, the music rocks, so it doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah.
So anything Motley did, I didn't really, if someone slagged on it, I was like, oh, screw you, man, whatever. And
we're fighting.
Exactly. We're going to fight. But you know what? Even Metallica, I remember the first time I saw Metallica on like Master of Puppets in Circus Magazine. Like I didn't see them, but in Circus Magazine, seeing them and seeing Hetfield. And I'm like, that guy looks cool. Like
he's
just
badass.
Like the tight Levi's jeans and the what do you call
cool
it? The
hair.
baseball, the cool hair, and the Explorer, and you're like, those guys look badass. I wonder what they sound like. So,
I was listening to on 92.3 KOMP, which is still the rock station in Las Vegas, Nevada, and we have 97.1 The Point now. But back then it was just comp, and on Friday nights at 11:30 at night, Metal Shop would come on, and it was only 30 minutes. And so you'd hear like, I don't know, 5 or 6 songs. And that was the night that I heard In Your Direction by Rat and Ride the Lightning by Metallica, who I had never heard either one of these bands. And I was just like, oh my God, I can't wait to wake up tomorrow morning and ride my bike to the record store and buy both of these albums.
That's so cool.
And, those are just all of those moments I'll never forget. I might forget what I did yesterday or even 5 minutes ago.
We don't forget those moments.
But I don't forget, like, I know that Dr. Feelgood came out on September 6th, 1989, because I know that I went to the record store that day. The release date might be different online because I think maybe as far as the world was concerned, maybe the record got released on Friday, but we couldn't go buy it until Tuesday.
Yeah. I
think is why the dates are sometimes weird, because I know for a fact that I went to the record store and bought Girls, Girls, Girls on May 19th, 1987, right?
Yep.
That was the day it came out in the record store, but online you'll see like a different date.
Oh, really?
So I think that's why. I think it's because they might be going by the Friday or something and not the Tuesday.
I've never looked that up to see if it is a Tuesday. Like, I remember buying the 94 album when the doors opened, like the 94 Motley album when the doors opened. Like, we could not wait, because I remember hearing Hooligan's Holiday and I was like, I love Vince, but this is different. This is like beyond anything that I ever imagined Motley to sound like.
I was at work the first time I heard that song in construction, and we were in the warehouse, and none of my coworkers liked Motley Crue. They kind of made fun of me for liking Motley Crue. And I had been talking about this record for months because I've been waiting for it for years. And so the day finally came where I heard the DJ say, "Hey, FedEx guy just showed up. We got the new Motley Crue." I just stopped what I was doing, and everyone actually in the shop actually gathered around the radio, and we all listened to that song. And I was just like so proud of them. Like, there's nobody that's going to be able to talk shit about this now.
No.
This is heavy and, more musical and all that stuff. And even my coworkers are like, wow, Motley Crue did good, and I went, Comp actually was playing 9 out of those 12 songs on the radio for about 6 weeks before the record came out. And so I would be my tape recorder next to the radio like a hawk, waiting for those songs to come on, and I'd record them. And so I managed to collect 9 of them, and I wore those 9 songs out before the record came out.
That's crazy.
And then I still went Odyssey Records is where I would go at that point in life, and you could go there at midnight because they were open 24 hours.
Cool.
You could go there at midnight and get the Motley Crue album, and so that's what I did.
Did you get the red or the yellow?
I got both.
You bought both of them?
I bought both, and looking back now, I wish I would have bought both on vinyl as well.
I know, and I regret it too. But I don't know if it was. I know a buddy of mine has it on vinyl when he got it originally, but I don't know if it was available in our record store on vinyl.
It was. I remember looking at it and thinking about it. I should probably buy this, And then I was like, nah, I don't. I had pissed away my record collection in 1992 when CDs came out. I took all my vinyl, all my 70s Kiss merchandise, like a dumbass, all my cassettes, took it to the used record store, traded it in for CDs, and I was so excited to get like 100 CDs, which not even thinking how badly I just got ripped off,
I know, and that's just it, right? It was but it was like, oh, I just want this on CD. It's all good.
Mm-hmm.
But looking back on it, I remember I had a whole bunch of cassettes. Like I had like 72 shelves full of cassettes, like 2 of them. And I gave them to Goodwill. And I'm like, oh my God, I wish. And then I had like stacks of Metal Edge magazines, and I just threw them out. I was like, you know what? Yeah.
Oh, no, you didn't.
I did. Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like issue after issue in consecutive order. Like,
I did I actually even still had the 16 magazines from the 70s when Kiss was on the cover of that magazine every month. And I pissed those away as well.
Yeah.
I had those 70s action figures. I threw those in to sweeten the deal for the CD.
Really?
I did. They weren't in the box, so at least I wasn't that dumb, but
Man.
And they were well used and worn. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to throw those guys up in the air. These are superheroes. They're not going to break.
Oh, yeah. But the hair was bad on them.
Yeah, that was bad.
The hair was very bad. Like you see them. It was what, Hasbro made those or something? I think.
Mego.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? I remember walking in. We had a store back then called Gemco, which was like what Target is today. And I remember going there in 1978, I want to say. Maybe it could have been 79, but I want to say it was 78. And the whole entire aisle, and it was a long aisle, was just stocked with the Kiss action figures. I mean,
Wow.
there had to have been a few thousand of them just lining the shelves. And you could have just walked in there and bought as many sets of those as you want. They were like $8 a piece.
Imagine if you had.
If you had a time machine and you
Oh,
could go back to that and you just buy like 100 sets of those and then you could sell them and retire.
I'd sell them back to Gene. Hey, Gene, I got a deal for you, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm curious about Oz Fox, going back to that.
Okay.
What guitar did he use?
You know what? I'm going to have to ask him because I was not present when he recorded that solo.
Yeah, I'm curious if he uses one of those Striper guitars.
Yeah, I'm going to have to ask him. We're actually supposed to have lunch again sometime soon, so that is going to be one of the questions I ask him. The last time I saw him, he played me some of his solo record that's going to be coming out at some point. He's been working on it forever, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking I'm about to hear some serious metal album, it's going to be Black Sabbathy and and it was like Beatles,
Oh, cool.
Beach Boys,
Really?
70s, 60s vibe with some of the most, he's got pitch perfect voice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nobody ever talks about what a great singer Oz Fox is, and he's singing lead vocals on these songs. And when his voice comes in, I'm just like, oh my God, dude, your voice is like magic,
Yeah.
which I knew from his backing vocals, but hearing him sing lead and just writing these amazing melodies and harmonies, and I can't wait until that thing comes out.
Well, I have the Sin Dizzy album on vinyl. They reissued it.
Wow.
With him singing. And it is incredible. The music's incredible. The album is incredible. His voice is incredible.
You have that on vinyl, huh?
Yeah, they reissued it 5-6 years ago.
Can you still get it or is it gone?
I have no idea. Like I don't even know. I jumped on it. I saw it was available, probably through a record label or something, and I jumped on it and I was like, I gotta get this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I only started building a new vinyl collection in 2022.
Okay.
I don't even know what came over. Oh, I know what it was. I found out that if you buy those 70s Kiss albums on vinyl,
Yeah.
they still have the posters in them. The tattoos are in Kiss Alive 2. So once I found that out, I was like, oh, well, I got to buy those at least, And then once I bought those, then I started thinking, well, gosh, all of my favorite albums I should have on vinyl,
Yeah.
So I don't have a huge vinyl collection, but all of my most beloved favorite bands, which it's basically like the influences that helped me create the new Cyanide album, Motley Crue, Kiss, Iron Maiden, Rat, Metallica, Judas Priest, Ozzy, there's some Def Leppard in there, all that stuff. And so all of those bands, and then even the Beatles and Led Zeppelin, I was like, I need to have that on vinyl.
Yep. Sounds like my record
now,
collection.
Yeah. And so now I'm like, I don't really have room to build the kind of vinyl collection I used to have.
Yeah.
Luckily, I still have my CDs. So,
right.
But, man, there's something about a nice, quiet Friday night at home with a beverage and just playing some records.
Oh, I agree with you. 100%.
Such a nice.
You know what? When I got back into the vinyl, which has been quite a few years now, I think I have about 1,500 vinyls.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I started, I have 7 copies of Creatures. 7 different ones of Creatures.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I've got like, someone gave me Smashes, Thrashes, and Hits, which is hard to get. Like, it's expensive.
I know. That's one I don't have.
Someone gave me that. This guy had all these Kiss albums. He had originals in there, and he gave me that, but it wasn't in great shape.
Wow.
Ace's solo, Gene, Hot in the Shade. I have 2. I have the reissue of Hot in the Shade and an original of Hot in the Shade.
Wow.
Yeah, so
I would like to just send out to the universe right now, if there's anybody out there that loves Cyanide and ever wants to do something like that to me and give me some vinyl like that.
Yeah.
Man.
I was like, are you kidding me?
Make it so.
And then another friend, another buddy of mine, these guys are all buddies of like guys that I knew. Another guy said, I was over at his house once. He's like, my father-in-law or my stepfather had these vinyls. He's like, he's a metal guy, but he's like, there was like Rush and the Cars and T-Rex, Tommy Bolin. He's like, do you want these? I was like, what? I was like, Hold Your Fire on vinyl and like that live, I think it was Stages, gave me all. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Oh, some Triumph too. Like, I was like, no way. Oh, yes. Yeah, I'll take it. Sure.
That's insane.
I know.
I have vinyl jealousy.
I'm sorry. So
that's okay.
But then I started trying to get more obscure stuff, like 80s stuff, like stuff that was only like available in Europe. I just got the Roxy Blue Want Some album on vinyl. I'm not going to tell you what I paid for it, but it is in mint shape and it sounds incredible. And like stuff like Black Eyed Susan I have on vinyl, and Blondes.
I had that cassette.
Cry Wolf.
I had that cassette.
Sons of Angels. Like the list goes on and on. Oh, Trouble Tribe I have on vinyl too.
Wow, man.
Yeah, there's all the some of these have eluded me. Like I don't have Child's Play Rat Race, which is on my list. There's a record guy in Toronto who gets like the guy I got Roxy Blue off. He has had multiple copies of Badlands, Voodoo Highway, Great White, Psycho City, but they XYZ Hungry, like they're like $300-$400.
Oh, so they're not bootlegs. They're
they're
like
originals from
pressings.
Europe. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see why those. I've actually, that's a little bit, I spent so much making this record and because I have a few tribute bands too. And so putting the stages together for all the bands that, when it comes to the vinyl, I kind of got to be a little more frugal.
I get it, man. I didn't buy all those ones. I just bought the Roxy Blue. I don't have the Badlands and the XYZ.
Well, I've seen Roxy Blue and Badlands and Danger, Screw It. There's a Facebook page that I follow where they get these and they're bootlegs, but I've bought a few and man, the quality was great. Like I got this live album from the John Corabi tour.
Yep.
Motley Crue did. I think it's a show in Japan. Excellent quality. It's a 3-record set. I got Red, White, and Crew from there, which I have never seen.
I have Generation Swine bootleg.
Oh, I want that. Do you have 2?
I bet you the guy that I know can probably get another one. I have Slash's Snake Pit bootleg.
That was a great album. That first one.
That first
with
one.
Eric Dover.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was a great album too.
Yeah. It's endless. Like my girlfriend was downstairs the other day and she's like, what is that new row of vinyls there? I was like, well, they were sitting elsewhere and I moved them up there to make it look better. And she just
I love doing that.
What's that?
I love doing that. I'm going to move these so this room looks better. I do that
I
too.
know. It looks better here than it did over here. These are kind of like on the floor beside the record rack. Now it has its own spot, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, listen. So moving forward, you mentioned the tribute bands. I know you're playing with the tribute bands. You do quite a few shows. You have the Motley one. You do a Maiden one, I believe, too.
Yep. And a Poison. Yeah, I've got 3. And luckily for me, there's this venue in town called the Tuscany. And they've been letting me book Cyanide as the opening act for my tribute bands.
Oh,
And
cool.
so Cyanide's playing every month. And the tribute bands just rotate, so it's like, I guess, every 3 or 4 months for Motley Crue, Poison, Iron Maiden. And I'm going to be doing an Aussie thing as well. So I'm going to
Cool.
have 4. And yeah, man, the opportunities for Cyanide because of the tribute bands. I
Yeah.
mean, don't get me wrong. I love singing Iron Maiden, Motley Crue, Poison, Kiss, Ozzy. I'd be doing that anyway if I didn't have a tribute band. I'd just be doing it in my car or at home. So I definitely do it because I love it. And that's why I chose those bands. But also, it's amazing how much easier it is for someone to care that I even have original music
Yeah.
if they like the tribute band first.
Yeah. Which your original music is amazing. I mean, your band, like, remember when I told you about 21 Gun Salute, I was like, this is incredible. So I respect that. I mean, I don't know if I told you I'm in a Bon Jovi tribute band.
I didn't know this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice.
We're called Bon Jovi.
What do you do?
I play guitar. I'm the Richie.
Oh, you do. Oh, you nail it, don't you?
I do my best.
Note for note.
Yeah. I try to. Yeah. I think it's important.
So you mastered the guitar. Yeah, I've thought about the Bon Jovi thing a couple times because there isn't one here in Vegas.
That's why we need to come to Vegas.
Yeah.
I know. We would love to. I mean, we play the Canada circuit, like we play Canada, mostly Ontario, but we do go to other provinces. It keeps me busy, and we're in the process of doing a Nickelback thing too. We have a gig booked in June for Nickelback. And then I just got offered to do another band, which is like hopefully theater things called Arena Rock, which is going to be the spectrum of a lot of the arena. I'll be playing guitar in that.
Yeah.
So that keeps me busy.
That is my ultimate goal here in Vegas, because I know that really just for a band of our stature, touring is just kind of out of the question. There's almost no way that it's ever going to be affordable enough to do it right unless we get a lot bigger, And so I've kind of just accepted the fact that what my new goal is now is to just put these tribute bands together and keep building it until we're drawing so many people that, it has to be put into a big showroom.
Yeah.
And then that's when I planned on then combining everything into one show and have the costume changes and because once you get to that level, that's when you're not really able to throw in the deep cuts anymore because, it's more casual fans and you got to keep them from leaving. So you need to keep playing songs they know. Like when we do our Motley Crue show right now, there's no pressure like that. So we can play whatever we want. We're still only covering up through Primal Scream, but we'll throw out Starry Eyes, Come On and Dance, Take Me to the Top.
I love that. Remember you and I talked about that before?
Yeah.
In the last interview about like, what were the songs we talked about? Angela maybe, and like Rock and Roll Junkie and
I love that
Teaser, like, which was a cover, but like
it's still I've seen Vince play it live, so I know it's doable.
Yeah. I've seen him play it live too.
Anything from that Dr. Feelgood era and before, those albums sold so many copies that everybody kind of knows all of those songs.
Yeah.
So you could get away with that,
Exactly.
It's in my Iron Maiden band, because I've always been a deep cuts guy and I still go out and buy the new albums from these bands and I play them just as much as I played the old albums. And I really just fell in love with the song Coming Home off the Final Frontier Iron Maiden album.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw them play it on one of their DVDs and there was like several 100,000 people going nuts. So I thought, we'll play that song. And so, we're having our Iron Maiden show that night and we're playing, all the well-known songs. We take off into Coming Home and I swear everybody went outside except like 10 people. And I was so sad. I was like, man, this is really that you really can't get away. We played Eat Me Up Alive by Rat one night. And I'm thinking now everyone's going to love this.
No.
Nope. Maybe if we had a Rat tribute band and there was more hardcore Rat fans there, but we played it at a show where we were doing variety, you know.
It's a great
And
song,
so
though.
I know.
Great
I know.
song.
And
I'd be
I
all
thought
over
for
it.
sure.
You know, like I
Yeah.
would love that.
There was like 10 people that were going out of their minds. Oh, this is so awesome. Everyone else went to go either get a drink or go outside or, you know.
You know what's funny?
Uh,
I mean, this Bon Jovi thing has been together we started the band 24 years ago, 24
wow.
years ago. So, but I've been in and out a couple times. I've been back for about 3 years.
Okay.
In the early days when we were playing, we could get away with doing I'd Die For You and Without Love and I Believe and certain songs like that. Now we can't do them because people only want to hear the hits.
Yep.
And when we do some of those new Bon Jovi songs, it's hit and miss.
Yeah.
Right? Some shows will be good.
The last Bon Jovi concert I went to was, I think, in 2018. It was kind of the same thing there. When he was playing the hits, the crowd was into it. And then he'd come out and play one of his newer songs and you know, maybe half the crowd was into it. You know?
Yeah.
And it's just even the band itself can barely get away with, you know, doing it.
I know, and it bothers you because these are like songs that you love. Like "I Die For You" is one of my favorite Bon Jovi songs to play.
Great song,
right? But
yeah.
Dead Air, people just don't care anymore. So
what about "Never Say Goodbye"? Does that one still?
That's a closer. We use that as a closer, and I mean, our singer tells a great story about, you know, like driving around in his Chevette, his mom's Chevette when he was a kid with a cassette tape, listening to this song, you know. And people love that one. So
I'm glad that one survived because that was
me too.
That was always one of my favorite deep cuts.
Yeah. I want to thank you for joining me. Anyways, Rob, I wish you all the best, and let's do this again and all.
And before we go, let me just remind anyone that's listening, cyaniderocks.com is our official website. All of our socials, all of our streaming, everything about the 3 tribute bands, as well as Cyanide, is all together on one website. Each band has its own separate page. So if you're into that sort of thing, that's where you can always find out what we're doing. We recently released a music video for Slip and Slide that was directed by Adrian Leon, who's a fantastic director. He's got several movies out on Amazon, so check his stuff out. And we just shot a new video for Get Up and Dance that I should have in my possession by next week. And then from that point on, I'll be doing like a 6-week promotional blitz leading up to the premiere of the video and the single. So be on the lookout for the Get Up and Dance video. It's going to be a fun video. We shot it just like it was 1988, you know.
Oh, I can't wait.
We got the girls getting ready to go to the concert, you know. Then, yeah, the video's going to start. And, you know, I'm getting out of the vehicle. The driver opens the door for me and I'm on my phone. Where are all the screaming chicks?
So good. I love that.
Do we
I forgot about that.
I was told there was going to be screaming chicks. I just love that moment from the "Oh Say Can You Scream." Classic Sebastian. And it was something that just came to me at the last minute. It was not something we were planning on doing. I was just supposed to get out of the car and walk into the studio. But instead, I was like, oh, I'm going to do the Sebastian thing. So, yeah. In fact, after this, I'm going to go film my audition video for the Skid Row thing.
Man, that's awesome. Well, good luck. I hope they friggin' check it out because you're a fantastic singer. So
it's a tough job, I will admit. I would say that singing Sebastian stuff is even harder than the Iron Maiden set.
Really, eh? Yeah, you know what? Some of that stuff is just insane. You see, Rachel's got a solo album coming out.
Yeah, that's a great song he put out.
Yeah, it is a great song. It's really cool.
I was impressed.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, when I was doing 18 in Life, because I recorded the vocals in the studio, you know, but I did them as one. I didn't want to layer them and make it something that, you know, you couldn't really pull off live. And as I'm singing 18 in Life, I'm just realizing like there's no backing vocals in this song. He just sings all the way through.
Yeah.
And that's what whoever singer they pick has to be able to do that live, you know. And so I didn't want to dress mine up because I didn't want let's say they were interested in me. I don't want them to have heard this amazing version on this video and then I show up and like I can't do it.
Yeah.
So I sang it in the studio like I would sing it live.
That's awesome.
Like-
well, I wish
like
I hope, oh man, fingers crossed. That would be awesome.
I think at least there's no deadline and I haven't missed out.
Yeah.
And I have no delusions about being chosen. I just think it'd be cool just to even like, I don't know. Imagine if they just call you and they're like, it's like in that movie Rockstar, and they're like, yeah, this is Snake from Skid Row. Would you want to come down and sing with us?
And you hang
Shut
up.
the fuck up.
Yeah, hang up. Exactly.
Which one of my friends is playing this cruel joke on?
Exactly. That's such a classic, eh?
Yeah.
That's so good.
But yeah.
All right, man. Well, thank you. And like I said,
Thank you.
we'll do this again. And
Yeah.
every so often, let's get together and talk because, I mean, this is rock talk to me. So,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. It's a fun time.
Okay.
And
man.
we had way more time than last time. So yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. We'll definitely do this again.
Okay. All right, Rob. Well, enjoy the rest of your day and we'll talk to you soon.
Enjoy your day too, man.
Thanks, man. Take care.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.